खंडमंडलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनं शलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुसाक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे। So, last 2 days we were involved in Krishna and the Bhagavad. Today, being Ashtami, and since the other main Pradishta here is also Devi, so I would like to go into some aspects of the Devi lore. So it is vast and infinite, but we will touch upon some aspects of it which I think are maybe important for us to understand. Now, when you say Devi, basically it refers to Shakti. Para meaning supreme, ultimate. Shakti, you know what Shakti is. Energy, strength. Energy, basically energy. But energy has so many expressions. Therefore, when it is seen in its purity, in its absolute aspect, it's called the great energy, translated Parashakti. Now you know that whether you believe in Shakti or you don't believe in Shakti, oh I don't believe in gods and goddesses, this guy has come back today also. Whatever we say, one cannot deny the fact that without energy there is nothing in this world. Even we are moving around because we have some energy. The world moves, the earth moves because it has energy. In fact, there is not a single place or situation in which there is no energy, which means where there is no movement. So therefore, he will come here. Bus. In his own mind. So therefore, when we say it's all pervading, it means that there is nothing which is actually not moving. This is Shakti, energy. There is nothing that does not move. In fact, the whole universe is called Jagat. Why is it called Jagat? Because it is Jagatyam, which means that which moves. Yatkinja Jagatyam Jagat. Why is it called Jagat? Because it is constant movement. So you see how Shakti is expressed in all these. If you look carefully at what's happening. The planets move around the sun. The suns move around the entire Milky Way. Inside the earth, everything moves. What we think is inert matter is constantly in motion. If you ask a scientist, he will tell you that there is nothing called inert matter, because if you look deep inside, there are innumerable particles moving at various speeds. If they stop, the whole thing will collapse, but they never stop. This is shakti, the energy. And then we come to the psychological aspect, which is the mind. Have you ever heard of a mind which is not moving? It's constantly in motion. And for the mind to move, desire has been put into the world, so that it is never satisfied with anything. You sit and close your eyes, in 1 second it would have moved sometimes from as far away as London and come back. No time. Constantly in motion. This entire motion is controlled by this energy which is called Devi or Parashakti. In its 9 manifestations, it is classified as the Durgas, and in its 10 manifestations, in the science of tantra, it's called the Dasha Mahavidyas. All the manifestations of Shakti that we see worshipped all over the world, don't think it's only in India. Here, of course, more popular, but in other parts of the world, Devi and Shakti are worshipped in different forms, including that of Virgin Mary. Except that in this country, so much devotion and so much importance have been given to the feminine aspect of Shakti, of energy, which is Shakti itself, which is in motion, that when you hear about atrocities against women, we wonder if this is India. Because it is the basis of the energy and the strength of civilization itself. Of course, the Shaivites say that Shakti is subservient to Shiva. The Shaktas say that Shiva is subservient to Shakti. In fact, their theory is that if you want to say the word Shiva, the most important syllable in that is the E sound, Shi, E, Va, which is actually the part of Shakti. If you take the E out, then you can pronounce it only as Shava. You know what Shava means. So, why I am saying all this is because this worship of Shakti, worship of energy, is an ancient thing in this country. Now, among the Dasha Mahavidyas, the different aspects of Shakti have been mentioned. When Shakti is calm and cool, then it is Shanta Durga. When it is wisdom and Sri Vidya, it is Tripura Sundari, Rajarajeshwari. When it is in its fairy aspect, it's Bhadrakali, Chindamasta, Sashantara. These are all the vigorous and wild aspects of Shakti. So people ask, why is it that this is represented as wild? Open your eyes and look at the world as reality. When energy works in fairy ways, we get all the bloodshed that you see. When it works in peaceful manner, then wisdom and everything comes. So, Devi in the aspect also in the Tantra Shastras. Now don't think that Tantra is a bad word. It's not. If Tantra is a bad word, why is it that Adi Shankaracharya, who is supposed to have been a commentator on all the Upanishads and the Vedas, one who belongs to the path called Samaya Marga, why would he write the Soundarya Lahari, which is a tantric textbook? Now, the whole theory of Tantra, which basically deals with the Devi, is most people cannot reach the source of one's being through giving up things. Giving up is not easy. It's meant for few sannyasis. It's not meant for everyone. So Tantra says there is a way of going to the core, not by giving up, but through understanding and being in contact with the things of the world, so that finally you understand the futility of it and then you are free. Otherwise, when you want to be free, you are caught up, you say, oh, I want to be free, maybe I should experience, this is wonderful, I have missed this. A tantra practitioner has seen all this and is above this. Idea is to transcend it, not get stuck in it. That's tantra. Also, tantra means activity, action, work, method, technique by which something can be achieved. Here, there is yantra, there is tantra, and there is mantra. Three. Mantras, are words of power which have been given out by the great rishis, which invoke certain energies in us. Tantra is the practice by which these become effective in the human system. And yantras are diagrammatic representations of energy or shakti, which when properly followed and understood, one achieves the result of the tantra, which basically is to arouse the Devi, who is usually potentially sleeping in most people, and activate her and make her walk along a certain path. The path is called the Kula. So therefore, Shakti in the human system is called Kula Kundali. One who walks the path takes her up, where she reaches the highest center, which is identified in the Sri Chakra as the Vidhu, where she is one with her male counterpart, which is Shiva, and the ecstasy that one enjoys, and that is called Samadhi. Now, when Shiva and Shakti are together, the byproducts, the children are Ganesha and Ashta Ganesha, Ashta Ganapati, Kartik and so on. These are all the various powers and energies and capacities which come to the yogi when the Shakti has gone back to source. So in this, the yantra is worshipped externally, but the ultimate aim of worshipping the yantra externally is to finally worship it within your heart. While the Sri Yantra is made, why I am saying this? Because we are on the subject, so I will only say things which I am allowed to say. We will not discuss things which naturally we cannot discuss. You must have seen the Sri Chakra. Many families worship the Sri Chakra, Sri Yantra. Sometimes it is flat and sometimes it is three-dimensional. When it is three-dimensional, it is called the Meru. Starts with the squares and the lotus circles and the triangles interposed on each other till it reaches the top where there is the end, which is the Bindu, called the Nada Kala Bindu, which is the place where Shakti and Shiva equally share their place. Which means being and consciousness of being. Now, when Shakti is not active, there is only what is called Shivam, then there is complete balance and peace. There is no creation. The moment the awareness of Shakti comes, then the balance is tilted and this whole thing takes place. So in the end it will go back to the same source from where it came. Now, as far as the human being is concerned, fortunately for us, all of us, man or woman, the Shakti, Parashakti, which enters the womb to create the whole human body and the human system, after having done its work, goes and settles itself down in an inactive state at the bottom of the spine, which is just behind the reproductive organs, in the center, which the tantrics call in tantra is known as the Mooladhara. Now Mula Adhara means Mula Adhara, which means the root Mula, where the energy after having done its work of creating this whole system has now come and settled down quietly, waiting for the next step in evolution, which is not physical but spiritual. Now, because all this has been done, the energy has not lost a single iota of its strength. It's still complete in itself, even after having done all this. So, from the tantric point of view, the Vedic mantra Purnamada Purnamidam actually also refers to Parashakti Kundalini Devi, Rajarajeshwari Tripura Sundari, who after having done work has not lost anything. She is still Purna. She was Purna in the beginning, she is Purna now. Nothing can be taken away from her, she is always complete. But asleep, out of ignorance, out of not having developed spiritually, in that state she sits. The moment she is awakened, then man steps on to the next step of evolution. When I say man, I mean human being. Next step of evolution, which is the construction of the spiritual body as the physical body is. Now, as it is awakened, now it need not be awakened only through the practice of tantra. There is no such thing like that. When there is intense bhakti and devotion, also she awakens. When there is intense knowledge and complete one-pointed attention, also she awakens. But in the tantras, there have been many direct ways by which she can be awakened. For us, in my parampara, which has Sri Guru Babaji at its head, and Maheshwarnath Babaji at the second run, which is a Natha Sampradaya, we combine the practice of Kriya Yoga, which is another practice, by which the energy is awakened, with the practice of what is known as the Sri Vidya. Now, Sri Vidya is not a very mysterious term, although we cannot openly discuss some of the matter. Sri Vidya means that supreme energy about which we discussed, which is now hiding in sleep, in its potent form in the Muladhara, coiled like a snake 3.5 times, who can be activated and awakened by a certain way of life, intense desire to awaken towards spiritual well-being, or spiritual development, a certain way of life, and certain practices which are basically in the form of sounds. The sound is so important. The Bindu, which is in the middle of the Sri Yantra, is actually this place from which the Nada comes. Nada, or sound, is the first beginning of all creation. It's through that sound that the rest of the things begin to take place. So, when we say Sri Vidya, it refers to the Devi Tripura Sundari on one hand, and it refers to the Bijaksharas which are used to awaken her and lead her from the bottom, from the Muladhara, through the different centers which are in the spine, in the Shushumna Nadi, which is in the spine, which is called the Kula. Those who practice are called Kaulacharyas. Now, Kaula is not a bad word, it means one who leads through the Kula, through the path. Of course, in some parts of the world, Tantra has degenerated into orgies and drunken orgies, but that is not Tantra. Tantra meaning basically the way to awaken the energy in the Muladhara and to raise it through the different centers called the chakras and take it to the Sahasrara chakra. The Bindu in the Sri Yantra is the Sahasrara chakra. When this happens, man is no more man, he has become divine. Now, in the Sri Vidya mantra, there are basically 15 Bijaksharas which I am not about to tell you. 15 Bijaksharas. So therefore it's called Panchadashakshari. 15 liter. And one should know how to chant it, which chakras or centers in which it should be fixed, what are the matras, how long it should be chanted between each other, and how the Devi is to be contemplated upon in one's own heart as the Antaryami and taken up step by step to the top. When the union takes place of Shiva and Shakti, then the Soundarya Lahari is celebrated, of which the author is none other than Adi Shankaracharya. Adi Shankaracharya, after having written all the commentaries on the Vedas and all the Karikas on Gaudapada's Karikas, and after having set forth the commentaries on the Brahma Sutras and so on, wrote the Soundarya Lahari, because in his tradition, the families in which he comes from, it was a running tradition of Sri Vidya Upasaka. But he belonged to the Samaya Marga, which means that part of the Sri Vidya Upasakas who believe that it is mostly internal and not external. While others start from the external and move towards the internal. Some get stuck only with the external. But ultimately one has to move inward. So when somebody gives more importance to the inner, then that is supposed to be following the Samaya Marga. So Adi Shankara is the greatest exponent of the Samaya Marga in the practice of the Sri Vidya, which is worship of the Devi, awakening of the Devi, and illumination through taking the energy from the Muladhara to the Sahasrara Chakra. In this, therefore, he wrote the Soundarya Lahari. In fact, the 41 verses are called Ananda Lahari, which is a description of the Sri Vidya mantra. In fact, those who have been initiated into it can find the exact Bijaksharas of the Panchadashakshari in the 32nd verse of the Soundarya Lahari. Even put in a particular order so that one who has understood can find out how to chant it. Only the matras are not given, which of course have to be learned from a teacher. Now this wonderful book has been given to us. I am saying this because lots of people, I don't know why men are not so interested, but at least the ladies, they keep chanting the Soundarya Lahari regularly. There are some groups, I know in Bangalore, I am sure there are some here, they chant, but usually without understanding what they are chanting. Now, also in the Soundarya Lahari, if you read carefully, you will also find the description of how to construct the Sri Yantra. Not only the outward, but also the inward. Because in the Sri Yantra, there are two types. One is called the Srishti Yantra. The other is called the Samhara. Basically, they all have 5 triangles upwards and 4 triangles downwards, interposed with each other, which is the center, there is a bindu, surrounded by 2 circles of lotuses and a square through which you can enter from all 4 sides, like entering the temple, which actually is a diagram of the Muladhara, the square with the triangle inside. Now, therefore in this wonderful text, now when these 5 triangles, 5 plus 4, 9 triangles are interposed, you get the Sri Yantra with 43 little triangles. Trikonas. Why trikonas? Because triangles are so important geometrically, in the sense that the first complete figure comes only when there are 3 sides. Single line you cannot have a figure. Double lines don't meet. When you have 3 lines, then you get a complete figure. So the basic figure is 3 lines. And this 3 line is also the 3 dimensions with which we see this whole world. They also represent the prism with its 3 sides, through which when the white light goes, it splits into the Vibgyor spectrum. Now actually, meditating on the geometrical form of the triangle and sending the light through it, the white light of Shakti gets converted into the vidyar colors of the whole universe that we have. So these are all connected to each other. The symbology, the geometry, as you see in the world, so it is inside. The Soundarya Lahari also describes in detail all the chakras and centers through which the energy is let up from the Muladhara. In detail. Till the 41st verse. After the 41st verse, it is basically a description of the beauty of Devi, and the rest, to complete 100 verses, the beauty of the Devi, which is basically devotion. Now, we cannot do the whole Soundarya Lahari here, but I brought it in case, but I don't think it's possible. But it's interesting to touch on a few parts of the Soundarya Lahari, because it is Soundarya Lahari, ecstasy of beauty. A yogi who has practiced the Sri Vidya sees beauty everywhere. Instead of the other marga, where you say not this, he said this. In one marga it is neti, not this. But in tantra it is everything, sarvam jita brahm, everything is Brahman. Everything is shakti, everything is energy. Nothing can be eliminated or taken away or thrown back. It is all inclusive. Therefore it is also dangerous in a way. Because when it is all inclusive, very often we fall into this inclusiveness and are not able to come out of it. So, the first line of the Soundarya Lahari, I am sure many of you must be doing Soundarya. Anybody? The first line of Soundarya Lahari, Adi Shankaracharya, starts with a very, very, very serious, important point. It says, Shiva Shaktya Yuto Yadi Bhavadi Shaktaha Prabhavitam Na Chedevam Devo Na Khalu Kusalaha Spanditumati. And then of course it proceeds Akastvam, Aradhyam and so on. What it means is, Shankara says, Shiva Shaktya Yukto Yadi, until and unless this great sleeping Shiva unites, associates itself with Shakti, there is no way that this whole creation can come into. Only when Shakti vibrates in Shiva, that this whole of existence comes into being. So he is trying to establish the importance of Shiva being aware of himself and saying, now I am, that is Shakti. And then the creation starts. Here Shiva doesn't mean just the destroyer Shiva. It's talking about Brahman expressed as Shiva. So, and then he says, with such a great energy for Shakti, Atastvam Aradhyam, who am I to worship you? I am so humble. How can I worship you? What is the qualification that I have to worship the universal energy which in the twinkling of an eye creates and destroys the universe? And so it goes on. Then there is a sloka in the Soundarya Lahari which describes the great energy and strength of Tripura Sundari, addressed as Bhavani, in which such deep devotion is felt, in which Shankara says in the Soundarya Lahari, Bhavani Tvam Dase Mahi Vitara Drishtim Sakarna. It means, oh Bhavani, the goddess of the entire universe, ruler of the entire universe, your slave here, from Dase, Mayi Vitara Drishtim Sa Karuna Iti Stotum Vanchan Kathayati Bhavani Tvam Nitiya. Even I don't have to elaborate upon your glories. The moment I say Bhavani Tvam, the grace of your eyes falls on me and I am transported to the highest reality. You who rest on the bed, whose 4 feet are on the heads of the Creator, Preservation, Preservate, Destroyer and so on. This Supreme Shakti is what I worship. I don't even have to say, I have to say Bhavani Tvam, Bhavani you. Before I proceed, you have already bestowed your beautiful grace on me and I am lifted to the highest levels of energy. Then in the next section, now in the Soundarya Lahari, there are 2 major commentators who have commented upon. It's not interesting because I am telling you to show how 2 people can interpret the same thing in 2 ways and both powerful. The general commentary followed is that of Bhaskara Raya, who lays a lot of importance on the inner and the outer, both. Then there is Lakshmidhara, who lays upon only on the internal and tries to throw away all that is external. But I think no human being can throw everything that is external away, because external is what we face every day. So it has to start with the outer, and as the mind matures, go with it. If there is a rare individual whose mind is matured, he can directly go to the inner. Otherwise, the puja, the aradhana, the archana, all are important because we have to be engaged in doing that which is useful. Instead of, alright, you say I am not doing any aradhana, what do you do for the rest of the time? Read newspapers or play golf? Golf is a good game. I always say golf is, if you are playing, it's a good game. It has 18 holes, like the 18 chapters of the Gita. With complete attention, as long as you don't end up in the 19th hole, watering hole. So, external is also useful. The external leads you to the inner, because all of us are not in the inner all the time. And when the inner is seen, you will reflect the inner in the outer. That is the importance of this Tantra Shastra and Sri Vidya and the Soundarya Lahari. Lalita Sahasranama was chanted here today. Lalita Sahasranama has also complete descriptions of Sri Vidya, mantra, also the chakras and the centers. One needs a guide, of course, to pick up and say what is best for us. Because there are many variations depending upon the sadhak. Now, in the Soundarya Lahari part, I am dividing it after the 42nd verse into Soundarya. There is a description of Bhavani or Devi, which is so beautiful with such great devotion. Shankara has described Devi, but bringing in all the elements of Sri Vidya. So Raja Rajeshwari is usually depicted as a beautiful lady holding a bow, sugarcane bow, and an arrow of flowers, and a pasha, a rope, and a goad. Pasha is to put around your neck and push. Goad is to push you from the back to say move. The arrow is the arrows, flower arrows are the arrows of Kamadeva, which is desire for fulfillment. Which physically is translated into something, spiritually is translated into something else. And the bow, the sugarcane bow, is a depiction that this bow is the sweetest bow that can be ever. The Shankara describes her as Kunat Kanchi Dama Karikalabakam Vastananata Parikshina Madhye Parinata Sarat Chandra Vadanam. Who knows Sanskrit will enjoy this poet. Dhanurvana Pasam Srinuma Vidadhana Karadale Purastadastam Napuramati Rahu Purushika. Aho Purushika means that Devi, that Tripura Sundari with bow in hand, sugarcane bow, and the arrow of flowers, whose face is like Sarat Chandra, Vadanam, like the moon, beautiful like the moon, like the Sarat Chandra, whose waist is like Parikshina Madhya. You know, nowadays a lot of people try to imitate this hourglass figure. Parikshina Madhya, Parinada Sarat Chandra, Vadanam. So that beautiful Devi, I contemplate upon and invoke. So when he says Aho Purushika, when a great yogi says that with full attention and devotion, Aho Purushika, immediately the Purushika is in front of us. One way in front, in other way, immediately the sleeping Kundalini awakens and moves towards the Lord. And there is the ecstasy which is called Soundarya. So this is what the Devi is all about. So when you worship the Devi, Shakti in different ways, keep in mind that you are worshipping first the supreme all-pervading energy unconditioned which is all over the universe. Two, a part of it is in us, in waking, in sleeping state. And when you worship and according to your teacher's instructions handle the situation, then this energy awakens in us and goes towards her Lord, which is divine, the Sahasrara Chakra. And union of the two is what is celebrated as Samadhi, Mukti, Kaivalya and Moksha, which is Anantam Anandam, that Ananda which has no anta, no end, and which when one understands, one becomes complete, Purna. There is no incompleteness anywhere. He does not require anything from the outside world. If you see the outside world and I are one, there is no difference. This roughly is what Soundarya Lahari is about. So when you read the Soundarya Lahari, please remember that there are such deep nuggets of truth in it. And even while reciting it without knowing the meaning, because the Sri Vidya Bijaksharas are loaded in it in different places, unconsciously even without knowing you chant it. And when you chant it, the effect is automatic because the Bijaksharas don't have a meaning. They have only vibrations. And they are supposed to bring about a change in your psyche. So you ascend from being an animal into a human being, from a human being into a divine being. And finally until you are totally identified with that supreme being, known as the Durga, Devi, Tripura Sundari, Vaishnavi. Don't want to say anything more. Do you need to ask a few questions on this matter? Do you have anything to ask? Don't tell me, initiate me into Sri Vidya, but anything else?
You can be concentrated when doing the alignment. Because somebody told me don't do it unless there is some guru. So I do go on the own and other from alignment. But whether I should concentrate or only the Namasmara or the Adhyachakra.
Now, what you have just now described has already been printed and published by the Ramakrishna Mission in Swamiji's lectures on Raja Yoga. But he has expressly stated in this that please practice this only with guidance from somebody. That is also there. Now, since you have taken up the subject from the yogic point of view, the energy field in all human beings consists of the Ida, the Pingala and the Sushumna, which is the central blueprint of the cerebrospinal system, which is the most important part. We all know that this entire life in us, our thinking, our activity, everything is controlled by the brain. So, even though it's only this much, this is the most important part. This may be bigger, but it's not. It's all controlled from here. Now, in the Bhagavad Gita, in the 15th chapter, Purushottama Yoga, it says, Urdhvamulam Matashakam Ashwatham Prahuravyam. There is an upside down tree, people tree, Ashwatha tree, whose roots are up above and branches down below. We only know the branches, that too imperfectly. If you know the branches perfectly, we will go to the root. But the root is up above. Now from the yogic point of view, the root is this. And the branches are all down below. Here is the root. Now if you read, anyone of you have read the Jnaneshwari, which is one of the most deepest interpretations and practical exposition of the teachings of the Gita, of Sanskritaneshwar. You might have already come upon this. This is the root, the mastak. Now from here, from the yogic anatomy point of view, two nerves, two nadis come down. One is called the Ida and the other is the Pingala. The right is the Pingala and left is the... And they cross here. Here means not just behind. And then go on opposite directions and touch the Mooladhara at the end. It's almost like an electrical circuit. Since they cross here, for the yogi, the meeting place of the Varuna and the Asi river together is Varanasi. So for the yogi, the Ajna Chakra is the Varanasi. Because it is where the going up and also coming down. Then they reach the Mooladhara and touch the Mooladhara. Now also there is a direct connection between the Sahasrara, this part, and the Mooladhara through the central channel in a straight line which is called the Sushumna. Unfortunately, for most people the Sushumna is shut on both sides. All the activities that we do, whatever is happening, including thinking, acting, moving, everything is done through Ida and Pingala. It's only the yogi who awakens, who opens the cork which closes the Sushumna, cleans up the Sushumna Nadi and allows the energies which were till then travelling only on the Ida and Pingala to travel through the middle. This is the function of yoga, this is the function of Kriya, this is the function of Siddhi. Now from the yogic point of view, when you do inhalation and exhalation, gradually the energy that you gather, the prana that you gather, is allowed to go and strike the Mooladhara so that the Sushumna is opened and the energy begins to travel in a straight line. Then the human being evolves from the physical to the spiritual. So to your question whether you should practice it, I would say there is no harm in practicing, provided you don't do overdoses of it. Do for a short while in the beginning at least, because our human system is not fully perhaps ready to take care of it. If I may suggest, rather it's better that you do deep breathing, breathe in and breathe out, and mentally imagine that your breath is going up the spine and down the spine. You leave the Siddha Pingala thing tightly. Just go up and down, travel with your mind as you breathe in and out. And even that time, if you have any difficulty, I am there, you can ask me, or there will be other people. But the thing is, if you see anything that is out of ordinary, my body is getting heated up, or nowadays I am not feeling any appetite, or nowadays I am eating too much, or something like that. If there is a manifestation, then you should consult somebody who knows about it and see whether it is to be stopped or whether it is to be increased or decreased. Beyond that, in this kind of a public venue, we cannot discuss this matter. Beyond that. But there is no harm in doing anulom vilom, breathing in and breathing out. It's very restful for the body and the mind. But don't do that a description where it is stuck at the bottom and forcibly aroused, because forcible arousal is not a very good idea. Because most of human beings, the Sushumna Nadi is usually clogged with impurities. So first you have to remove the impurities. For that you need to lead a good life, which is the Yama Niyamas, which are necessary in Ashtanga Yoga. Without Yama Niyama you cannot go to Asana, Pranayama, the next step. So what Yama Niyamas are, they are already there in the Yoga Sutras. So first we have to ground ourselves on that. And there are two Yama Niyamas which are so difficult to practice in Kali Yuga. One is to speak the truth. The other is not to cause injury to others. Manasa, Vacha, Karmana, we talk, word or deed. You know why? Because these Yama Niyamas are there so that a human being evolves into high levels of spirituality only after he is able to practice these Yama Niyamas, because very soon one is possessed with such tremendous power and energy that if you are not a good human being, you would cause irreparable damage to others. So this is the safety valve. Unless you are a good human being, nothing will happen. You can stand on your head for 15 days at a stretch, but nothing will happen. Because that is the way it has been adjusted, so that you are not, the power doesn't come. Otherwise it's like putting a small child in a room full of dynamite, giving him a matchbox and a matchstick and telling him how to strike the match. Anything else? You have some question?
You told me about, you said, telling the truth and not hurting anybody. Sometimes it conflicts. When you tell the truth, you may hurt someone.
Now you have to follow this particular principle, which is before you speak the truth. Very often we don't speak the truth, but before we speak the truth, just think for a moment, what is it that you are going to say? Who is it that you are going to say to? And what is the situation in which you are saying it? Because sometimes, according to the definition, Manu defines truth as that which causes good to the maximum number of people can only be strictly classified as truth. So if you think it is going to cause any harm, it is better to keep quiet than to express the truth. When I say speak the truth, I don't mean you must keep on speaking the truth. What I mean is, when we speak only what we know, what is correct, what is here. And even that, if you find that it is going to cause some problem, better to shut up than to substitute it with something which is untrue. This is simply said because, you see, it becomes a contradiction when I am saying untruths, not yours, I am saying all the time, 24 hours I am telling lies. Okay? Then I want to find the supreme truth. I mean, is this possible? Are we taking God for a ride? This is not possible. So if I cannot practice truth in my life, how am I aiming at the ultimate truth? This is not possible. So 100% it is not possible. This is Kali Yuga 1. Second, we all have our weaknesses, we are human beings. We must try our best. That's all we can do. man who has attained moksha perhaps will not speak any untruth. Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa used to say that if for 12 years, if you can practice, leave other sadhanas aside, not speaking a single word which is untrue, then he said at the end of 12 years, even if you say something untrue, it will become the truth. Tremendous energy is developed. Now in this matter, speaking the truth or speaking the untruth, I would like to mention one more thing, that a lot of energy is lost through talking. This prattle that goes on, it loses maximum amount of energy, and a spiritual sadhak cannot afford to lose that energy, because he needs all the energy that is necessary to move towards his goal. Even if you stop 50%, cut down your talk, you will see that you have tremendous energy. But then it is so difficult, because the tongue, one of the most important organs is the tongue. If I don't have a tongue or vocal cords, I cannot even speak to you. But it also happens to be the most crucial element to control. You know how the tongue takes us for a ride? Taste. Most of the food we eat is not because we are hungry. The taste. Hunger goes off in 10 minutes, but this taste is there. I cannot eat. There is no coconut in it. How to eat? People like us from Kerala, there is no coconut to eat. How to eat? Taste. Taste is so important. And you will discover that if you are able to control your taste, able to control the tongue from speaking too much, ready to move, you will find that you are also able to control your sense organs. This is a fact. If your sense organs are giving you too much trouble, just fast for 3 days. The moment the tongue doesn't taste good food, it will control itself. And therefore in yoga, we have a practice called Khechari Mudra. Khechari Mudra actually means to turn the tongue back and push it up towards the lip. Now it has 2-3 functions. One of course is from the point of view of pranayama. It shuts off the system for some time. Therefore the energies travel only through the sushumna. The other is the tongue, which is accustomed to be always pointed this way, is turned upwards. And therefore all these energies of talking, gossiping, just calculate how much time we spend in gossip. How useful it can be if you use that for something else. Even if you just don't gossip, keep quiet. Why don't we do some japa during that time? Shankaracharya says that if I completely, there is a great yogi who sees Devi everywhere, his ordinary chat also becomes a japa. Japo jalpaha silpam, you could see in the Soundarya Lahari.
Energy is not describable. As if the whole universe is created, eternal. So internally, we have divinity shakti.
Yes.
That's not from Durga.
Yes.
When it is awakened,
Yes.
it travels through all the chakras.
Yes.
And chakras and this moksha, mukti. So, what is the unity?
What is the?
You can take this eternity awakening.
What is that?
What is the yukti for awakening from the memory?
What we should do? Awakening.
Is there any
Yukti. I didn't hear that. The first understanding one should have for this energy to awaken is what we expressed just now, that there is an energy which has to be awakened. This has to be accepted first. that it is not awakened, it is sleeping. This has to be accepted. Okay. Now, there are after that when one decides, okay, now this is my spiritual journey, it has to be awakened. Then one has to meet a teacher who has awakened his own Kundalini, not who has read books. It doesn't work. Suppose it has happened in somebody. How do you make out? One of the things we read yesterday in the Bhagavad, one of the things is no bodily sorrow or pain has any effect on his mind, because he is immersed in the bliss of the inner. Second, he has no ill will or hatred towards anybody. Even if you harm him, he thinks by harming this person, he is becoming better. The other person may become better. Like Hiranyakashipu was constantly hating the Lord because he attained moksha, because he had to think of him all the time. In the same way. Now, of these two have been established, and when you have found a teacher, that teacher will help you to arouse this sleeping energy through the technique which is best suited for you as an individual. It may be different for different people. Out of sheer bhakti also the Kundalini can awaken. So one has to meet a teacher and discuss the matter with him on a personal basis before one gets into the techniques of awakening.
My question is connected with that only. You said, see, I am an amateur. We start awakening with the Durga Ashtami, and the topmost chakra is here. But in Reiki, I have read somewhere, they open the topmost chakra and then the energy flows. So why this contradiction, or is there some?
I have no idea. I can only speak from the yogic point of view. I personally think that if the energy sleeping energy has to be awakened from the Muladhara and taken to the top. This is our traditional way of doing it. Now, it may be that if you fix your attention here, this center is also the center for receiving. This is the center for transmission and this is the center for receiving. Perhaps some energies of grace and goodwill and energy may flow through it. Okay, we need not debate on that. But until and unless the sleeping energy in the Muladhara has been awakened, spiritually one cannot move to the next step in evolution. That's all. It may be that you get some healing energies. Quite possible. But from our point of view, since I am grounded in this particular parampara, we think that the Muladhara is the center like a triangle, the bottom, where the Tripura Sundari, Mahatripura Sundari, after doing her work, is resting now, symbolized by a snake which is turned 3.5 times. It is only a symbol. In those days there were no watch springs. It's as if the energy is potential. And then when you use your Bijaksharas, or when you have extreme devotion, or through the practice of pranayama, or kriya, or through the practice of yoga, or the practice of the worship of the Yantra, it depends on different people. The teacher only can decide. Or through Shakti path, where the Guru says, now, up. But then that Guru must have that much energy to do that. He must be someone for whom it has already happened, not one who has knowledge from books. Then it is aroused. Even after it is aroused, it is our responsibility to see that the channel is kept clean. That's why sometimes in spiritual journey you have history of people who have come up to a certain extent and then fallen down flat. Because as the energy goes and as the human mind expands, one begins to be aware of greater horizons and greater capacities which one has, which an ordinary people don't have. So if greed has not been completely eliminated from the system, it might turn up that suddenly it takes over. And then all this that you have done becomes very worldly. So before it reaches a certain level, it falls back again flat. Which is why in Kriya Yoga we say that first the Sushumna Nadi has to be cleaned. It is full of muck. And this muck is from your past life, from the activities of this life, through hatred, through anger, through obsession. All these are obstacles, blocked. Kriya basically is a method to clean up the system. It's like the bottle brush which you have for the children feeding bottles. So, after that, then the rest of the things start working. I think we should stop now. So that I can also sit quietly. Thank you very much. I think that was a good session. Om Shanti Shanti.